Hello! Welcome back to Talk Lucy channel. We're really happy to have you with us today.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. If you're here to improve your English, you're in the right place.
I'm Lucy.
And I'm Tom. On this channel, we help you speak clear, natural English with confidence in real-life situations.
If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, your support helps us so much. Thank you for being here. So, Lucy, what are we talking about today?
Today, we have a very practical topic. We're going to learn how to talk about your job in English.
This is such an important topic. Whether you're meeting new people, going to a job interview, or just having a casual conversation, you need to know how to describe your work.
Exactly, and we're going to make it super easy and fun. We'll teach you useful phrases, common mistakes to avoid, and we'll even do some practice together.
Sounds perfect. So, Lucy, before we start, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really good, actually. I had a productive morning. How about you?
I'm great. I'm excited to teach this lesson. I think our viewers will learn a lot today.
I think so too. Okay, everyone, let's get started.
All right, let's begin with the most common question about jobs. Lucy, when you meet someone new, how do you ask about their job?
Good question. The most common way is to simply ask, "What do you do?"
What do you do? That's it? So simple.
Yes, it's very simple. You can also say, "What do you do for a living?" But "what do you do" is more common and natural.
Can I also ask, what is your job?
You can, but it sounds a bit formal. Native speakers usually say, "What do you do?" It's more relaxed and friendly.
Got it. So, what do you do is the best choice. Now, how do I answer this question?
The simplest way is to say, "I'm a" plus your job title. For example, "I'm a teacher."
So I would say, I'm a designer or I'm a doctor.
Perfect. You can also add more details like, "I'm a teacher. I teach English to children."
Oh, I like that. So first you say your job, then you give a little more information.
Exactly. Let me give you some examples. "I'm a nurse. I work in a hospital." Or, "I'm a chef. I work in an Italian restaurant."
Those are great examples. What if someone doesn't have a job right now? How do they answer?
Good question. You can say, "I'm looking for a job," or "I'm between jobs right now." Both are polite ways to say you don't have work at the moment.
And what about students?
Students can say, "I'm a student. I study at university," or "I'm still in school."
Perfect. So we have the question, what do you do? And the answer, I'm a plus job title.
Yes, let's practice this together. Tom, what do you do?
I'm a content creator. I make educational videos about English.
That's true. We are making a video right now. Okay, my turn. I'm a teacher. I help people learn English online.
Beautiful answer. See how easy that was? Now let's talk about different types of jobs.
Yes, there are so many jobs in the world. Let's give some examples. In the medical field, you might be a doctor, a nurse, a dentist, or a pharmacist.
In business, you could be a manager, an accountant, a salesperson, or an entrepreneur.
If you work with technology, you might be a software engineer, a web developer, a data analyst, or an IT specialist.
In education, you could be a teacher, a professor, a tutor, or a school counselor.
And in creative fields, you might be a designer, an artist, a photographer, a writer, or a musician.
There are also service jobs like waiter, barber, receptionist, or security guard.
And don't forget about trades, an electrician, a plumber, a carpenter, or a mechanic.
So many jobs. Everyone watching, think about your job. How would you describe it in English? Now let's talk about where you work. This is another common question.
Right. Someone might ask, "Where do you work?"
Exactly. And you can answer in different ways. You can say the type of place, I work in an office, or I work in a hospital, or you can say the company name, I work at Google, or I work for Microsoft.
Yes, notice we say "work at" for a specific place and "work for" a company or person.
Oh, that's important. So I work at the city hospital, but I work for Dr. Smith.
Perfect. You got it. And some people work from home. You can say, I work from home or I work remotely.
That's very common these days. I work from home most of the time.
Me too. It's very convenient. Okay, let's move on to describing what you do at your job.
Okay, Lucy, so we know how to say our job title and where we work, but how do we describe what we actually do every day?
Great question. This is where you can really show off your English skills. You can describe your responsibilities and tasks.
Responsibilities, that's a big word. What does it mean?
Responsibilities are the things you are expected to do at your job, the duties that are part of your work.
Ah, I see. So my responsibilities include making videos, writing scripts, and editing footage.
Perfect example. You can say, my main responsibility is to plus a verb. For example, my main responsibility is to teach students, or my responsibilities include answering emails, organizing meetings, and preparing reports.
Exactly. Let's give more examples for different jobs. If you're a customer service representative, you might say, I help customers solve their problems. I answer phone calls and respond to emails.
If you're a sales manager, you might say, I lead a team of salespeople. I set targets and track our progress.
If you're a graphic designer, you say, I create visual designs for websites and advertisements. I work with colors, fonts, and images.
These are great. Notice how we use simple, clear language. You don't need complicated words.
That's right. Keep it simple and natural. Now let's talk about who you work with.
Ah, yes, your colleagues and coworkers.
Exactly. A colleague or coworker is someone who works with you. You can say, I work with a great team, or I have 5 colleagues in my department.
And your boss is the person who manages you. You can say, my boss is very supportive, or I report to the sales director.
Right. If you are the boss, you can say, I manage a team of 10 people, or I'm responsible for supervising the staff.
What about working alone? Some people don't have colleagues.
True. If you work alone, you can say, I'm self-employed, or I'm a freelancer, or I run my own business.
Those are useful phrases. So we have employees who work for a company and self-employed people who work for themselves.
Exactly. Now let's talk about work schedules. This is another common topic.
Right. People often ask, what are your working hours? Or when do you work?
You can answer by saying when you start and finish. For example, I work from 9 to 5, or I start at 8 a.m. and finish at 6 p.m.
Some people work shifts. You can say, I work the morning shift, or I work night shifts.
And if your schedule changes, you can say, I work different hours every week, or my schedule is flexible.
I like flexible schedules. It means you can choose when you work.
Me too. Some jobs are full-time, which means about 40 hours per week. Others are part-time, maybe 20 hours or less.
So you can say, I work full-time, or I have a part-time job.
Perfect. Now let's practice describing a complete day at work. I'll go first.
Okay, let's hear it.
I wake up at 7 a.m. I have breakfast and get ready. I start work at 9. First, I check my emails and plan my day. Then, I have lessons with my students from 10 to 12. After lunch, I prepare materials for the next day. I finish work at 5 p.m.
That's a clear description. My turn. I usually wake up around 8. I make coffee. I definitely need coffee. I start working at 9:30. I spend the morning writing scripts and planning videos. After lunch, I record or edit. I try to finish by 6, but sometimes I work later if I have a deadline.
Great. See how we use simple present tense to describe our routine?
Yes, it's not complicated. Just describe your day step by step.
Exactly. Now let's talk about something important, what you like and don't like about your job.
Okay, this is interesting. Not everyone loves their job 100%, right?
That's true. It's normal to like some parts and not like other parts. Let's talk about the positive things first.
Good idea. When someone asks, "Do you like your job?" or "What do you like about your job?" how do you answer?
You can start with, I really enjoy, or I love plus what you like. For example, I really enjoy working with people, or I love the creative freedom.
Those sound natural. Can you give more examples?
Sure, I like my coworkers, they're very friendly. Or, I enjoy the challenges, every day is different.
What about the environment?
I like working in a quiet office, or I enjoy working outdoors.
Perfect. And you can talk about the benefits. I like the salary, or I appreciate the health insurance, or the vacation time is generous.
Those are practical things. What about the feeling of the job?
You can say, the work is rewarding, or I feel like I'm making a difference, or I'm proud of what I do.
Beautiful. Those are deeper, more meaningful reasons. Now, what about the things you don't like?
Yes, the challenges. You want to be honest, but not too negative, especially if you're talking to your boss.
Good point. So how do you politely say you don't like something?
You can use softer language. Instead of I hate, say I find it challenging, or it can be difficult when...
Smart. So instead of I hate working overtime, you say working long hours can be tiring.
Exactly. Or instead of my boss is terrible, you say sometimes communication with management is challenging.
That's much more professional. Give us some common complaints that people have.
Okay, the commute is long. It takes me 2 hours to get to work. Or the workload is heavy. I often feel stressed. Or the salary could be better. Or there's not much room for growth in this company.
Right. And some people say the work is repetitive. I do the same tasks every day. Or I don't feel appreciated by my manager.
These are real problems that many people face. But here's an important question. If you don't like your job, what can you do?
Well, you can try to improve the situation, talk to your boss, learn new skills, or change departments. Or you can look for a new job. You can say, I'm thinking about changing careers, or I'm exploring new opportunities.
That's right. It's okay to move on if you're not happy. Life is too short to stay in a job you hate.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about career goals and ambitions.
Yes, when someone asks, where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is about your future plans.
That's a classic interview question. How do you answer it?
You can talk about your professional goals. For example, I'd like to become a manager, or I hope to start my own business, or I want to develop my skills in marketing, or I'm working towards a promotion.
Exactly. You can also mention personal development. I want to learn new languages, or I plan to get a master's degree.
These show that you're thinking about the future and you're ambitious, but it's also okay to say, I'm happy where I am, or I just want to keep improving in my current role.
Right. Not everyone wants to climb the ladder. Some people are content with their current position.
And that's perfectly fine. Okay, let's move to a very important part, common mistakes.
All right, everyone, this is one of the most important sections. We're going to talk about mistakes that learners often make when talking about jobs.
Yes, and we want to help you avoid these mistakes so you sound more natural. Mistake number 1 is huge. Many people confuse work and job.
Oh, I think I know this one. Can you explain the difference?
Sure. Job is a noun. It's the specific position you have. Work can be a noun or a verb. When it's a verb, it means the action of doing your job.
So I have a job, not I have a work.
Exactly. And I go to work, not I go to job. It's a very common mistake.
So what's your job is correct, but what's your work sounds strange.
Right. You can say, what's your line of work, which means what industry are you in, but for the job title, use what's your job.
This is so helpful. Okay, what's mistake number 2?
Mistake number 2 is using the wrong article. In English, we need a or an before job titles.
Can you give examples?
Sure. Wrong, I am teacher. Correct, I am a teacher. Wrong, she is engineer. Correct, she is an engineer.
We need that little word. But wait, when do we use an instead of a?
Great question. Use an before vowel sounds. A, E, I, O, U. So, an engineer, an accountant, an artist, an office worker. And use a before consonant sounds. A teacher, a doctor, a manager, a programmer.
Perfect. Just don't forget it completely. I am teacher is a very common mistake. Got it. What's mistake number 3?
Mistake 3 is about saying where you work. Many learners say, I work in Google or I work in Microsoft.
What's wrong with that?
We don't use in for companies. We say, I work at Google or I work for Microsoft.
So when do we use in?
Use in for the type of place or industry. I work in an office. I work in a hospital. I work in the tech industry.
So in is for the place type, at is for the specific location, and for is for the company or person.
Exactly. I work in a bank means the building. I work at Wells Fargo is the specific bank. I work for the bank manager is who employs me.
This is so clear now. What's mistake number 4?
Mistake 4 is confusing salary and wage. They're similar but different.
How are they different?
A salary is usually paid monthly or yearly for professional jobs. A wage is usually paid hourly or weekly for labor jobs.
So a teacher has a salary, but a waiter has wages.
Exactly. You say, my salary is $50,000 per year, but my wage is $15 per hour.
And most people don't talk about exact numbers, right?
Correct. It's more polite to say, I earn a good salary, or the pay is decent, rather than giving exact amounts, unless someone specifically asks or it's a job interview negotiation.
Right. Okay, mistake number 5, mixing up boss and manager. Wait, aren't they the same?
They're similar, but boss is informal and general. Manager is more specific and professional.
So in a job interview, I should say I reported to the sales manager, not I reported to my boss.
Exactly. Boss is fine in casual conversation, but use specific titles in professional settings. My supervisor, my manager, the department head.
That makes sense. What's mistake number 6?
This one is about job searching. People often say, I'm searching job or I'm finding job.
What should they say instead?
Say, I'm looking for a job, or I'm searching for a job, or I'm job hunting. Don't forget for and a.
So I'm looking for a job in marketing is correct.
Perfect. And if you already got the job, you say, I found a job, not I finded job. Found is the past tense of find.
Good reminder, irregular verbs can be tricky. What's mistake number 7?
Mistake 7 is about experience. People say, I have 5 years of experience, but then say, I am experience. What's wrong with I am experience?
Experience is a noun, not an adjective. You can't be experience. You should say, I am experienced with ed at the end.
Exactly. I have 5 years of experience, or I am an experienced teacher.
I am very experienced in this field, not I am very experienced. This is such a common mistake. I'm glad we're covering it. Last one, mistake number 8, confusing hire and rent.
I thought they were the same.
They're similar but used differently. Hire is for people or some services. Rent is for objects or property.
Can you give examples?
Sure, the company hired 5 new employees, not rented, but I rent an office space.
So it's safer to say, the company hired me and I rent an office space.
Perfect. Okay, let's do a quick quiz. I'll say a sentence and you tell me if it's correct or wrong. Ready?
Ready.
I am teacher and I work in school.
Wrong. It should be, I am a teacher and I work in a school.
Correct. Next one, I have been working at Microsoft for 3 years.
That's correct. Perfect sentence.
Good job. Last one, I am very experienced in customer service.
Hey, English learners. Welcome back to the Talk Lucy channel. This is your podcast for daily life English and real conversations.
Yeah, this is the place to learn real English from real talk, not from boring grammar books.
I'm Lucy.
And I'm Tom. So, Lucy, how are you today? Did you have a busy day?
A little busy. I had work in the morning and then I went to the gym, but I feel good now. How about you, Lucy? I'm good, but a bit tired. I stayed up late last night because I was watching a movie.
Ah, so you were maybe wasting a little time.
Maybe, just a little, but it was a nice movie. Today I'm happy because we can talk with our listeners again.
Same here. It always feels nice to sit down, talk with you, and help people with their English.
Yes, it feels like we are all in one big room together.
Okay, small talk finished. Let's get into our topic.
Yes, before we start wasting their time, today we have a very important topic. Don't waste your time.
Right. Time is life. If we waste our time, we are wasting our life a little bit.
Ouch, that sounds serious. But don't worry, we are going to keep it fun and simple.
Yes, and before we start, we want to ask you for a small favor. If you enjoy this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who is learning English.
Especially that friend who always says, I have no time to study English, but then spends 1 hour scrolling on their phone.
We all know that friend. Sometimes it's us. So, Lucy, let me ask you, what does waste your time mean in simple words?
Good question. To waste time means you use your time for something that is not important and not helpful for you.
So it's not just about fun or not fun. It's about if it helps you or not.
Exactly. Think about time like water from a bottle.
Water from a bottle?
Yes, you only have a certain amount of water in the bottle. If you pour it on the floor, you can't drink it later. That is like wasting time. When you use time on things that don't help you learn, grow, or rest, you are just pouring your time on the floor.
And sometimes we feel it, right? We finish and think, why did I do that?
Exactly. That feeling of regret, I could have used that time for something better, is a clear sign we wasted it.
Like when I say I'll watch one short video, and 40 minutes later I'm still there, and I don't even remember what I watched.
Yes. So let's talk about how to stop wasting time. I'll start with a story. Last month, I was working and my brain felt tired. I decided to take a 10-minute break.
That sounds like a good plan.
I sat on the sofa, opened my phone, and watched a funny video. Then another started. I thought, okay, just one more.
A very famous sentence. Just one more.
Yes. After some time, I checked the clock. 1 hour and 15 minutes had passed. I didn't feel happy. I felt empty, guilty, and more tired.
That is the feeling of time going away like sand in your hands. You open your fingers and it just falls.
Great picture. After that day, I decided to be more intentional. That means doing things on purpose, not by accident.
So what is the first tip?
Tip number 1, make a tiny plan. Not a big plan, a tiny one. Think of it like a GPS in your car.
I like that. If you don't put an address in the GPS, the car goes anywhere. You drive in circles and waste petrol.
Exactly. Many learners say, today I will improve my English, but that is too vague, not clear. Instead, make a tiny plan. Today I will learn 3 new words, or today I will listen to 10 minutes of a podcast.
That feels lighter. When I started learning a new language, I tried to study for 1 hour every day. It was too big. I got tired and skipped days.
I understand.
Then I changed it to just 10 minutes. My promise to myself was just 10 minutes. It worked much better. I wasn't scared to start, and I felt proud every time I finished.
So the lesson is, a tiny plan is like a clear address in your GPS. You don't wander around, you know exactly where to go.